I'm Cathy Griffith with Sotheby's International Realty in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and this is my partner, Ricky Allen, obviously also with Sotheby's. And I love coming to your ranch, and this barn is pretty darn incredible, sir.
Yes, well, thank you. We sell a lot of different types of properties, but I would say if we have one love, it's equestrian ranches and facilities.
For sure.
My wife and I live on a horse property, and I know you and your daughter spend a lot of time with horses, and your daughter has picked up a love affair.
Every day she rides.
And so, you know, any opportunity we have to represent buyers or sellers of horse properties, we just jump at.
Well, because you know this world, and I know it through my daughter Tessa, but this, like, you live it.
Anyone who has a horse property or is looking for a horse property, the first piece of advice, and I would hope it would be us, but more importantly, you need to find an expert, you need to find a broker or an agent that really understands equestrian ranches and properties.
And their features. I mean, they need to know about arenas and turnouts and round pens. And
some of the notes that I made about finding an equestrian property or representing an equestrian property or ranch. Number one, as I mentioned, you have to find an experienced broker or agent to represent you, whether you're buying or selling. Second of all, location. And you know, when you look for your property, you have to keep in mind that how closely are you accessible for an emergency vet visit? How far do you have to go to get your food? Accessibility. You know, a lot of people think you can just bring the horses in here without realizing you have to have a trailer and how you're going to turn the trailer around, and instead of having 5 or 6 backups, and until you've driven a horse trailer, you won't understand what I'm saying. The acreage. In Santa Fe, we do not have a lot of quote-unquote green pastures. I'm lucky enough to have one here, but you know, finding the right sort of land for horses, and you want something that's flat. So the terrain of the piece of property is very important. And maybe the most important thing is water, water, water. In the Southwest, in New Mexico, and certainly in Santa Fe, you probably are going to have a well. Understanding that well, what it's permitted for, how much it produces is very important. That's one of the things that we look at right away.
Right.
Zoning for horses. We have the Santa Fe County zoning land use, and then we also have in different, whether it's an HOA or different covenants on how many horses you're allowed. Well, certainly a stable or a barn is important, you know, and you also want to make certain you have electric. And you know, going back to the water in the winter, you want to make certain you have water that's not going to freeze. Fencing. You know, what sort of fencing you're going to have, and that's not an inexpensive proposition for those of you that have put fencing around a property. A riding arena. You mentioned, you know, I know your daughter rides
English, and she jumps, and
yeah, and so a lot of people want to have a riding arena. If you're not a jumper or you're not doing English, how accessible to trails. My wife and I are trail riders, and so you want to know how accessible trails. That's another very important. So, you know, there's a lot that goes into finding the right equestrian property, the right ranch. There's a lot that goes into representing sellers of an equestrian property, an equestrian ranch. And I certainly, and again, I would hope it would be us, and feel free to call us, but if not us, you want to have a seasoned equestrian ranch broker or agent representing you.
But call us.
Thank you.